I'm Dusty Lang, and I'm very happy to be bringing you the 5th episode of Deconstructing SBIR. It's been a while since we had one, so we're reconstructing our Deconstructing SBIR episodes. If you haven't seen any of the previous ones, or you're not familiar with the SBIR program, it's the Small Business Innovation Research Program, and it's designed to leverage the agility and the innovation of small businesses to develop technologies needed for federal government like DHS through a 3-phase program, which is concept feasibility, prototype development, and then commercialization. I am joined by Tanisha Walcott. Tanisha's been with DHS for 9 years. Many of those years have been with contracts, but she has recently come over to join the DHS SBIR program office, and we're very pleased to have her. You may recognize her from a episode we did, the 2nd episode, where you were here as a contracting officer. We're very happy to have you back. So we're here today because we've been working very hard on a holiday gift. So we have the DHS SBIR solicitation, came out yesterday, the 20.1. And so I wanted to call this episode Solicitations Greetings, but people groaned. So they said no. So we went with something else instead. But so we're going to be talking about the 20.1 solicitation. We're hoping to get the word out, make sure folks are aware of it, and also kind of try to help guide folks through some of the things that may be challenging about participating in the 20.1 submission process. Okay. So solicitation is out there. Yes. As I said, it is 50+ pages long. Why so long?
Solicitation is very long, but it's long for a reason. The solicitation is full of details. So there's lots of details about the topic. There's lots of details talking about the overview of the SBIR program, talking about SBIR policy. We are going to give you also a brief overview of DHS in its entirety. And so it's a lot of details outlining all the different phases of the programs. We really want you to take time to take a look at it in its entirety, and make sure you're able to digest all those details that are in there.
As I see it, I kind of categorize it into 2 sort of major areas. The first half, as you said, is a lot of about the program and the policies and stuff like that. There's a lot of things I need to pay attention to, but there's some details that we want to kind of go over today, such as dollar thresholds and things like that. Can you talk about some of the things that we can discuss today and provide some heads up on?
So for the current solicitation that's out there for FY20, we are seeking proposals on phase 1. So phase 1, it has a period of performance of 6 months. Phase 1 has a financial cap. It is capped at $150,000. In phase 1, we're looking to see about the proof of concept, a little bit about the feasibility of the approach.
Right, so the topics are, this is what we need, and we are looking for their suggestions and how they're going to provide feasibility. And we talk some about the criteria they'll be evaluated on, so they should pay attention to some things like that, so they'll know how we're going to look at their proposal and how we're going to be able to assess it.
Right.
The second major part, it's actually the Appendix A, is where the topic write-ups are. So we have a process where we send out a call saying, hey, we want to have some topics that we send out for these agile small businesses to be able to help us with our needs. And when we get them in, we look at them and we rewrite them within our office with the folks to make sure that they have all of the elements that will be essential for the companies to be able to propose to. Can you talk about, as you rewrite them with the topic managers, what parts, what aspects you want them to make sure they're addressing in these topic write-ups?
So we spend a lot of time working on these topics. We spend a lot of this time because we want to make sure that the topics are written in plain language. We want to make sure that they're clear, they're concise, and they're easily understandable for folks outside the federal government. Because some of the feedback that we got in the past was that the solicitation was really dense with federal speak. And so what we wanted to do is to reduce the federal speak, make it more easily understandable for the general public, and put forward a solicitation that's more in plain language. We also wanted to give areas of clarification. We wanted to outline what have the government done in the past, what worked, what did not work, so that we're not reinventing the wheel, so that when folks write their proposals, they understood what's been done and what has or has not worked in the past. We also want to be able to, in this solicitation, set expectations. We want to set the expectations for what is requested in phase 1, what will be called for in phase 2, and what will be called for in phase 3.
Right, and so and even kind of pulling on that one thread a little bit more. So if we say, hey, we've worked this is what we've done, this is why it hasn't worked. If you're a small business, you know, okay, well, if I have something that's similar to what they've done, I need to make sure I call out why it's different and how I'm overcoming the challenges they may have seen in the past, and how this may be able to work for them.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
those are important things. All right. That's great. And we had one question actually in the pre-solicitation period, which just ended on the 17th, where the question that was asked was actually, the answer was contained in one of the references. So kind of going back to that federal speak, if we have to use some federal speak, then we will often try to make sure that we provide references where the small businesses can get a little more information and get more in tune with what this means in terms of the federal government and how we incorporate that in their proposal.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So as I just referenced, our pre-solicitation closed.
Right.
So that was the period where the small businesses could directly contact the topic managers via email and ask them questions and have sort of a back and forth even a little bit. So that's ended. That's no longer a possibility. So what is the option now for if you have a question, if you're a small business and you've read the topic and you're saying, hey, I have something I'd like to ask here?
Don't worry, you can still ask questions. So if there's something that's in the solicitation that is not clear, there's an area that you need clarification, there's something that is confusing, please send us an email. At the bottom of each topic, we have a point of contact. It tells you who to reach out to if you have a question, so please go ahead and send us an email with any things that you need clarified. Once you send us an email with your questions, please make sure that the deadline for submitting questions is January 3rd at noon. So you need to make sure that your question comes in before January 3rd at noon. All the questions that we receive, we'll compile the questions. We will make sure to coordinate with the topic managers, get the answers for you, and all the questions that we received and all the answers will be posted to beta.sam.gov, and they'll be posted on January 10th.
So for the folks that may have had questions and submitted some to during the pre-solicitation, that name that was at the bottom of the topics was the topic manager. They are no longer able to respond to questions, so please don't send them questions because they will be told they're not allowed to respond to them, but we will be taking them through the contract management office. So that's the venue that we're talking about.
Right.
And you kind of touched on this, but I want to make sure the guidance that we've given is that they can ask clarifying questions, right? So same as before, if they submit materials for us to review, we're not going to review them. We're not going to be able to provide them additional guidance on an approach that they should or should not use. That's all part of the proposal submission and the evaluation process. So if you need clarification, that's great, and we'll happy to help explain that. All right. So make sure you check back. As Tanisha said, that will be posted on beta.sam. So on the 10th?
Yes.
And
January 10th.
January 10th. So make sure you come back and see it. And also, if there's ever, at any point during the solicitation, updates to anything, that's where the information will be, is on the beta.sam. So I know that, and I'll say, not procrastinate.
Okay.
But I like to prioritize things
Okay.
and make sure that I put them in their proper place in terms of the timeline of what I need to get done. So sometimes things may slip a little bit and fall further along in that timeline. I think it's really important for us to talk to the companies and make sure that they understand not a good idea to wait till the last minute. So can you help explain some of the challenges for waiting to the last minute and why we don't recommend it?
Okay, please do not wait until the last minute. The solicitation for FY20 closes on January 22nd. Please do not wait until the last minute. Why? Why can't we wait until the last minute? Because Murphy's Law, that's why. Suppose your electricity goes out. Suppose you have some internet issues. You never know what's going to happen, so please do not wait until the last minute. You want to give yourself enough time to completely read and digest the solicitation and make sure that your proposal, when it's written, is composed, make sure it hits all the elements that are outlined in the solicitation. Make sure you're hitting all those elements, make sure it captures all the required information, and make sure you get it in on time. So please don't wait until the last minute to submit your proposal to the portal.
So we're going to put up a slide now that has some solicitation bit.ly link. We tried to make it a little bit simpler for you to be able to get there. And for those of you who are maybe not as tech savvy like myself, apparently bit.ly addresses are case sensitive. So make sure you type as you see on the screen. And then the portal website, so you'll go to the solicitation, which is on the beta.sam, and that's the bit.ly address, to see the solicitation and the topic write-ups, and then you'll go to the portal website to be able to submit your proposals. And then there's also the SBIR program office, so if you have questions related to the process, so the SBIR program, that sort of thing, you can send those to that email address. And then if you're in the portal and you're trying to find a way to hit the apply or submit or anything along the lines of the portal submission process, there's the portal help desk that can help guide you through that. So those are the 4 things that we have up on that slide. So I'm a small business, and I went out and I see the solicitation, I read through it, and I looked at the topic, and I have the most fabulous, wonderful idea for submission. I'm going to solve DHS's needs forever in this area. So as I go through there, I didn't wait till the last minute.
Okay, good.
But it's after the 3rd, and that's when the questions are the deadline for the questions.
Yes.
And so now I'm in there, and I'm not sure how to answer the question about venture owned. So I just have to guess on how to answer these questions or how to get guidance, that sort of thing. Do you have help for me?
So if you're in the portal and you are having difficulty submitting your proposal, you can absolutely reach out to the portal help desk, and they will be able to help you. The portal help desk information is up on the slide. They'll be able to help you, walk you through the process, help you to get your proposal in on time. So don't worry about it.
All right, great. So process and portal navigation, they can always ask.
Yes, you can always ask those questions.
Just can't ask any more for clarification.
Right.
Okay. So one of the things that is so fantastic about this program, and it's one that many people who get involved in this program across the federal government stay in this program for a good number of years and or take on new roles within the program, is because we're able to do this wonderful, innovative research, and we're able to take these small businesses and use them to help us solve our needs. It's a win-win, that kind of thing. And so sometimes we will get proposals in, and the companies have not followed the directions in the solicitation. So what's frustrating is we'll get proposals we can't even put forward for evaluation. So while we can't tell them everything they possibly need in this thing that's in all the pages that could go wrong.
We'll be here all day.
Yeah, exactly. Can you talk about some of the things that you've seen that have kept us from being able to do an evaluation of a proposal?
Okay. So let me stress this again. Please read the solicitation carefully. Make sure you're addressing all the elements that are required for the proposal. So some of the issues that we have seen in the past, we have had proposals that exceeded the page limit. If they exceed the page limit, it is deemed non-responsive and we cannot review it. Sometimes we've had proposals that came in that exceeded the dollar threshold. The dollar threshold for phase one is $150,000. Cannot go past that dollar threshold. So if you submit a proposal to us that is past that dollar threshold, then we cannot evaluate it. It will be deemed non-responsive. Sometimes the period of performance, that's a good one. Period of performance for phase one is a period of 6 months. Sometimes we get proposals and they have exceeded that period of performance. So there are many other areas, but these are just some of the areas that we have had problems with in the past. So please make sure that you're paying attention to all the parameters that are outlined in the solicitation and make sure that your proposal adheres completely to the solicitation.
And one of the other ones that I know that has been frustrating is we'll get a call from a company at like 11:59, and it's due at 12
noon.
Eastern time, and they'll say, I'm hitting submit and it won't work. And unfortunately, we can't help with situations where at the last minute something has gone wrong. So, if it's late, it's late. We have to not take that.
Right.
Take
We're
that
not going to be able.
proposal.
Yeah, we can't take late proposals.
So that's one of the reasons we want to make sure that you're able to, look at this as early as possible and try to start going down the path of making sure you're able to get it submitted and it's all good form and everything like that. All right. So I think we have some questions. So first one is, can you respond to multiple topics in your proposal? I think the question being asked is, oh yes, okay, so yes, you can submit to multiple topics within the solicitation. You can also submit multiple proposals to the same topic if you have 2 different ideas on how you could approach something, so you can submit more than one proposal to a topic. So hopefully we see lots of submissions.
Send us all your amazing ideas. We can't wait to read them.
Absolutely. So what if TPOC never responded to questions in the pre-solicitation? So we're going to put up the slide again at the end here that shows the solicitation website and the portal website and our program office. And so send your question, or send us an email to stsbir.program@hq.dhs.gov. And we will make sure that if the question came in the time frame that it allowed, and it's a question that we are able to respond to, that we take care of that. So we'll make sure that there is some sort of feedback provided. So the question number 4, can you apply as a joint venture? So this is one that is a complicated answer, and this is why I say don't wait till the last minute to call. That's why I used it as an example, because it depends. There are rules, and the rules are not simple. So it's not something that I can go through here today, but we can provide some information in the thread on where you can find the verbiage, the language that talks about this in the solicitation, and then there are some ways to be able to run down whether or not you'd be able to apply as a joint venture. So it depends is the answer. Okay.
There's a question asked, can you repeat the period of performance and the dollar thresholds for phase 1? Absolutely. So for phase 1 has a period of performance of 6 months, and the dollar threshold for phase 1 is $150,000. So once again, phase 1 has a period of performance of 6 months and a dollar threshold of $150,000.
Now I do want to say, we're giving this information and we want to help you, but you are going to have to read the solicitation. This information is in the solicitation, and we're providing it as a help, but it is not, you shouldn't be taking everything we say in this video and saying, okay, well that's what was said and that's all I need to know. So please do review the solicitation. If you have questions, read the solicitation first, and then come to us with the questions based on what you've read in the solicitation. So next question. Can we submit topic ideas for next year? If so, is there a time frame for that? The answer is yes. You can submit topic ideas. let me give a very full answer to this question. So on our website, there's a place where you can submit for questions, and we'll get some more information on how to get exactly there. But so you'll go there, it'll say, hey, I have an idea I want to submit. It'll pop up a form, and you have to fill out the form to be able to submit the idea. If you submit an idea that says, hey, you should do a topic for this product that we make, that will not get forwarded for consideration. It has to be a topic that's written for how to solve a problem. And so you should look at the solicitation, you should see how the topics are written, and you should provide it in that form so that we can forward it. Once we have all those topics, so once a year we do a solicitation, which means before that we do a call for topics internally. And what we'll do is we'll pull the topic suggestions, any of them that are written in a format that we can forward, meaning it's not for a product, so it's not a good idea to try to market through this. Then we will forward that as part of our topic call, and folks can see it. And if they're interested, they may take this topic idea and own it, and then submit it back to us as a topic idea. It may come back in a different format, and what you've envisioned may no longer fit what they've changed the topic into. We don't come back to you unless we have a question, which is very, very rare. And so often you won't hear anything. You'll just, if something comes out in the solicitation, it will be out there. It's not a back and forth. It's just your way to kind of say, hey, this is something that you guys might want to consider as a topic. The time frame for that is, so when we start the process internally, it's probably around the August time frame, July-August time frame. So that's, I would recommend you get it in before that if you want it to be considered for the 21.1 solicitation.
Okay.
So then we're going to, so now it looks like we've answered most of the questions, but we want to make sure that we give the opportunity for folks to be able to provide or to submit questions further. So you can send them to the sbir.program@hq.dhs.gov. And I think we're going to pull up some slides now at this point. We're going to have 3 of them. The first one is a slide that shows the topics that are in the 20.1 solicitation. There are 9 of them. And at the bottom, it says responses are due January 22nd, and that's Eastern time. So make sure that you adhere to that and are prepared for that. And then we have a slide that shows some high-level important dates. They're the ones that you talked about, Tanisha. So
yes. So the solicitation, like we mentioned, was released yesterday, December 18th. The last day to submit questions is January 3rd. So make sure you get all your clarification questions into us by January 3rd at noon. All the questions that we received and all the answers to those questions will be posted back to betasam.gov, and that will be posted on January 10th, and the solicitation closes on January 22nd at noon.
Right. So to put the emphasis on what Tanisha has said, at noon Eastern time on January 3rd for the questions, and January 22nd. So make sure you know that it's at noon on those dates. And then we're going to go back to the slide where we have the bit.ly address for viewing the solicitation.
Yes.
The portal website address, which is in the solicitation as well. Our email address for our program office, which we've referenced a couple times, and then the portal help desk, that information is also on the portal when you go to submit. So just know that it is there, and you don't necessarily have to have that one in your back pocket. It'll be there. So we are really looking forward to receiving a lot of interesting submissions to our topics. from a variety of small businesses, then maybe some folks that haven't participated before. We'd love to have some newcomers. I would like to make sure that any folks that have questions know that they can contact us. Make sure you do that. Don't try to guess. Make sure you ask us questions. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and look for more Deconstructing SBIR episodes in the future to talk more about the DHS SBIR program. Thank you, everyone.
Yes. Thank you.